The human ego. How many ugly iron castles has it erected? And they don't even see the folly of their ways. It reminds me of someone who lived long ago, a vainglorious liar who ended up hurling himself into the flames. Now he's Icarus Earth, if I'm not mistaken.
In Drang Lake, love never lasts long, whether that's the love one has for their kingdom and comrades, or the hope that their love will one day come, it all turns to ash. Raime the Fume Knight and Nadalia the Bride of Ash found each other in the midst of heartbreak and were able to form a new bond. One finds a new figure to serve, the other finds a champion who will remain at their side. Perhaps from the soot of despair and longing, a new love can ignite. Raime and Nadalia are just one of many tragic love stories of Dark Souls. The Fume Knight, formerly known as Raime, was an accomplished knight who served as Vendrick's left arm. Raime was a trusted advisor to the king alongside the knight Velstadt. Eventually, Raime would have a falling out with Velstadt. Vendrick would then label him as a traitor, and in response, he would leave Drang Lake altogether in search of a new purpose. His wandering would eventually lead him to Broom Tower, where he found Nadalia, a fragment of Manus. According to his helmet description, his search of power in Broom Tower led to his service of Nadalia, who would become a mother figure to him, replacing the father figure role Vendrick once had. The Fume Ultra Greatsword description further aids this new purpose, stating, "The exile swordsman Raime had the ability to expunge the black fog, but chose instead to live alongside it, in the company of the child of the dark that haunts this sword." Raime decided not to kill Nadalia, but instead fight for her and protect her in Broom Tower. In this new service, Raime would also adopt a new fighting style, abandoning his raven-adorned great shield in favor of a two-sword approach to combat. The once regal knight took on a more savage and aggressive fighting style. Besides becoming the new figure Raime swore to serve, Nadalia happened to be a fragment of Manus, father of the Abyss. She came to Broom Tower in search of the old Iron King. It is unclear if she sought to destroy his kingdom like some of her sisters would go on to do to other kings, or if she genuinely had an interest in him romantically. However, when she arrived, the kingdom was left in disrepair and the king was long dead. She would then split her soul into fragments and place them within the ashen idols scattered throughout the tower. This would result in a black fog that would animate the deceased soldiers to fight for her and protect her. Raime would be her protector following, guarding her body from any intruders. Nadalia was known as the Bride of Ash, and as we approach her, her body is completely covered in ash, clutching the Iron King's crown, sitting upon his former throne. While Raime and Nadalia found some solace in one another, their companionship was born from the tragedy of lost love. Nadalia's potential love for the Iron King was never reciprocated, and it left her in a state of despair. According to her soul item description, she renounced her flesh and forsook her soul. The lover that she was seeking was no longer there. He was long gone. Raime would fall under a similar tragedy of love. The love he presumably had for his king and his brother-in-arms Velstadt was gone after his clash with them. Velstadt would best Raime in combat, and Vendrick would label him as a traitor. Raime looked up to Vendrick as a father figure, serving as a second-in-command position. It is likely there was a sense of love between the two, and the same could be said for his relationship with Velstadt. The three of them built the kingdom of Drang Lake through their conquest and fought at each other's side. While not love in the romantic sense, the three of them likely shared a common understanding and respect as battle compatriots. They had built something together for it all to eventually tear their bonds apart. Nadalia's love interest, the Old Iron King, was once a great ruler who sought to create an empire built upon the strength of iron. His hubris would eventually be his downfall, as his kingdom would eventually sink into the earth and molten iron would envelop his legacy. The smelter demon would eventually kill him, and his soul would possess the being that dwelled beneath the earth. The Iron King started from humble beginnings, looking for power and glory, and was approached by Sir Alon, who would train his soldiers. The king would also discover an iron-producing miracle that he would use to literally build his kingdom. He would use this miracle to create more soldiers and the smelter demon. His newfound power would go to his head, and he would begin to mine so much to the point where poison began seeping from the earth. He would begin torturing and hunting the undead for sport in the huntsman's copse, employing the executioner's chariot to eternally torture the undead. As we find him in game, his soul was absorbed by the being that slept beneath the earth, resembling a large dragon with a humanoid body similar to Dragon God from Demon Souls. The Old Iron King is thought to be a parallel to the reincarnation of Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. On New Game Plus, the Old Iron King will drop the Old King's soul, which is likely Gwyn's former soul. The Old Iron King also shares many of the same themes of Gwyn's downfall as a ruler. Both built great kingdoms and sought the longevity of their rule above all else to the point of insanity and their failure to maintain their power. Their arrogance led to their demise. Nadalia references her former love for the Old Iron King in her dialogue through the idols scattered throughout Brune Tower. She pines for him to return, but then rejects him once she has found a new champion, being Raime. The bearer of the curse, possessing the Old Iron King's soul, might be the reason the idols mistake us for the king, or at the very least sense his presence on us. Perhaps it's similar to the scent Shalquar loves so much. While the tragedy in this story has somewhat of a more positive ending, one cannot deny the ramifications it had on all parties involved. Nadalia seems to be unable to manifest physically beyond the idols, and Raime's departure might have been the beginning of the end for Vendrick's kingdom. The two found some solace in one another, but likely harbor some remnant feelings of the past. Raime and Nadalia formed their bond from the ashes of heartbreak. Nadalia searched for her love, but found he was long gone. Raime had a love for his king, his kingdom, and comrades, but ultimately lost them all. Both were able to find new comfort in one another. The knight's new purpose and the queen's new champion. From sadness, cinders of hope can be found. Such is the way of things. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions for future tragic love stories of Dark Souls, feel free to let me know in the comments below. There's plenty of sad stories of loss and love in these games, so this series has no signs of slowing down. If you like my thoughts on Souls titles and other prominent video game entries from time to time, consider subscribing to the channel as well as giving this video a like. Every little bit helps and is greatly appreciated. Just remember that sometimes we need to drop the shields we carry in life in favor of a hefty greatsword our new Ashy Mommy made special for us. It's all about adapting to life's changes. Take care.